G'day, Anthea here for Ant's Pantry. I've got a new Thermomix cooking chip to investigate now that I've done all the recipes out of the basic cookbook, and this one is called Everyday Cooking for Thermomix Families. So I'm going to be trying some recipes out of that for a little while and show you what we can have from there. The one I'm trying today really made me laugh. It's called blueberry buns, blueberry breakfast buns, and it's in the breakfast section of the book. And I was looking through the recipe and reading, you know, what to prepare, what to make sure I could get from the supermarket. And it says they're breakfast buns, but you need to let the mixture, the dough, prove for 4 hours before you actually start working them into buns and baking them. I'm thinking, who on earth gets up at 2 o'clock in the morning to prepare bun dough so that they can have breakfast at 7 o'clock? So I don't know what that's about, but you know, it looks interesting. I have the ingredients and I'm going to make these blueberry breakfast buns. Let's go. Here we go. They're on the Everyday Cooking for Thermomix Families chip. Recipes by category: breakfast, second one down, blueberry breakfast buns. So the ingredients for the dough are some sugar, some yeast, 2 eggs, some milk, baker's flour, unsalted butter, a bit of vanilla and sea salt. And then the filling is blueberries, a bit more sugar and plain flour and an egg. All right. And obviously by the picture we roll them into buns and bake them eventually. All right. First step, sugar. 110 grams of white sugar, some dried yeast, okay, that's 1, 2 teaspoons of dried yeast, which only adds up to 10 grams when it's dried, 2 eggs, 1, 2, I like to crack them in the measuring cup just to make sure they're good eggs. And full cream milk, 100 grams. It's not a lot. Insert the measuring cup into the lid. And 3 minutes at body temperature, 37 degrees centigrade, on speed 2. Let's have a look. Okay. Now we add 370 grams of baker's flour. And next is 50 grams of unsalted butter softened. There we go, that's my unsalted butter, 50 grams. A teaspoon of natural vanilla extract. Pinch of sea salt. And then we mix it up. Three minutes on the dough facility. Let's have a look. Lovely. So transfer the mixture into a large bowl, then cover it with plastic wrap or put it to prove in a warm place until it rises by at least 50%, approximately 4 hours. Okay, well, I'm going to use my Thermomat for that, and I've had the oven on low for a little bit because it's not a very warm day, and I'll wait for 4 hours for the next step. So it's always fun getting the dough out, but I think if I tip the bowl upside down on there and give the knives a bit of a twist from up here, that'll loosen it. and then I will get my spatula and dig it out. And then what's the next step? Clean and dry the mixing bowl. I half expected that. As I'm wriggling the knives, I can feel that that's much easier to wriggle. So my guess is some dough has fallen off the knives, and lo, it has. Look at that. All right, so I'll fish the rest of that out with the spatula and put it in a warm place. Okay, I have washed the bowl and had the dough in a warm place. It hasn't increased very much, and I've prepared 2 baking trays ready for later. And now place the dough onto a floured silicone bread mat or work surface, roll out to a rectangle, and then cut it into 16 evenly sized rectangles. Okay, so because I'm doing it on the Thermomat, which has been, it's good because it's got the fiberglass woven through it in order to retain heat. But of course you don't want to cut on the surface and release any of that fiberglass, but I won't cut with a knife. Just wanted you to be reminded of the fact if you've got a Thermomat, not to use a sharp knife on it. But you can cut with a spatula. I've done that before. I've sort of divided the dough that way. So, all right, I'll have a go at that step. Okay, I've done that roughly, and I'm ready to do the next thing. Set them aside while you make the filling. 250 grams of fresh blueberries. There they are. 70 grams of white sugar. 30 grams of plain flour. Insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid. I'll have to get that out of the dishwasher. And then 2 seconds, reverse speed 2. Spoon an even amount of the blueberry filling into the centre of each dough triangle and work 1 rectangle at a time. Pinch all 4 corners together into the middle so you encase the filling. Seal well and then lightly roll between your hands to shape them into round buns. Place the buns seam side down on the prepared baking trays and allow space for each bun to rise, and allow them to prove for another 1 hour. So what's really interesting is it was on reverse, so it didn't chop the blueberries up, and it just kind of mixed the flour, the sugar and the blueberries together. So they are whole, it's not like a sauce or anything. And I guess they become saucy like the picture during the cooking process. Okay. Okay, there they are. It seems like the flour and sugar in there was merely to dust the blueberries, because it was pretty hard to get spoonfuls of the mixture in there. I have no confidence whatsoever that what I've done is what was meant to be done or will work, but I'm going to leave them, and then the instruction, Thermomix has just turned off, does that. Would I like to resume my last recipe? Yes. Takes me back to that step. Allow the buns to proof for another hour. Preheat the oven to 160. All right, I can do that. Brush them lightly with a bit of egg and bake for 25 minutes at 160. Okay, so I know where we're going with it, and I'll show you what it turns out like. Okay, I've taken them all out of the oven and I've got them on a wire rack to cool. I've just cut this one in half. You know, I'm not sure that I would do this recipe again, considering how much time it takes, but I guess it worked. Let me taste it. Yeah, I mean, I love blueberries, so that part's fine. It's kind of a dry bun, but sweet enough. And of course the recipe says they're best eaten on the day that they're made, so it's just hilarious. Spend 5 hours making buns for breakfast, and make sure you eat them on the day that they're cooked. Anyway, this is all about trying something for the first time and seeing what happens. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Thanks for watching.